Welcome to SOMCC Marketing Monday. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Welcome to SOMCZ Marketing and Events LLC YouTube channel. Today we have our very own Miss Mary Young. Miss Mary Young is the owner of Elite Home Healthcare, and I hope I got that right, but you know I'm gonna let her tell her story. Okay, you're gonna tell your story. So she's also a pastor. I'm not gonna leave that out because we have to always acknowledge our women for who they are and the many hats that they wear. So she's a pastor and also she's the owner of Elite Home Healthcare. So Miss Mary, I want you to tell the people a little bit about who you are and what you do.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for having me on your YouTube channel. It's
You're
an
welcome.
honor and a privilege to be here.
You're welcome.
Elite In-Home Care Agency is a non-medical, high-quality home care service where we go into the homes of those people or individuals that might need a little help. We do as little or as much as the family needs to support. We're really mainly there for the client, but also for the caregiver so that they won't get burnt out. Honestly, most of them are in other careers. They don't have a medical background. And so sometimes good intentions can cause or create the healing process to be a little slower than normal. So having the trained professional in there to come alongside the family to help them nurse their loved one back to health is always the best. And we love doing it.
That's awesome. So as a home health care owner, I know you've experienced a lot. I'll tell you my little story. So I decided I wanted to get out of the house, right? I owned an in-home daycare for 7 years, and I was like, I want to get out of the house. I'm tired of being in the house, bad now. So I decided I wanted to dab in that field. And I had a little elderly lady that I kept, just one. And I got attached to her. So she became grandma.
Yes.
And she passed away, and that thing devastated me. So the people called and was like, hey, you want to do another client? Because you was amazing with her. I was like, oh no, you can take me off that road.
Wow.
Because that's a lot. And you really have to have the passion and compassion to keep going through that when you've loved on someone for years and because you become their child, you become their grandchild, you become whatever it is, because with this particular lady, her kids were out of state. So everybody who worked there became her child. So she loved on us and she had her kids. Okay, I don't want nobody else. Can they just work?
Right.
And so we became that person she really depended on and needed.
Right.
And then, so we get attached because now we're taking care of you all the time and you become grandma or you become grandpa or whatever, and then you pass away. So as a home health care owner, how do you kind of deal with those type of things where even with the people who work for you, that how do you train them or get them prepared for stuff like that?
Before I answer your question, I want to just tell you my story for why I started Elite.
Okay.
My mother was diagnosed with cancer. My father also died of cancer.
Okay.
And then I lost several family members kind of back to back. And, so I was going through a period of frequent loss.
Okay.
But the challenge of my mother was different from all the others because I was up close and personal.
Right.
She moved in with us and we were unable to find a caregiver that will provide compassionate, loving, skillful care.
Right.
And as that period of her transitioning from life to death, because eventually, she lost that battle with the diagnosis and the challenges from that diagnosis, which we knew would happen. However, we still wanted her to have a good quality of life during the end stages.
Right.
And that's what was missing.
Okay.
So I, at that point in different varying discussions with my mom, she encouraged me. The name Elite came from her. She was one that thrived in excellence. And when you look up the name and the definition of elite, it means far above the rest. And so not being arrogant in nature, but just letting the world know that elite is far above the rest. How can I say that? Because I sat down and I made a list. I did. I made a list of everything that I would have wanted to receive as a daughter for my mom. I listed those things from A to Z, and then we modeled Elite after that. What would you, and then I sent out surveys in the beginning to people who were receiving home care. I asked them several questions. What would you like to, what could an agency do to provide you better service? You know, basically finding out what's missing. And then I asked them if agency was started that could offer some of those or address some of those concerns, would you be willing to quit? And when 75% of those responses came back, yes, I'm willing to, if an agency can provide X, Y, and Z services, I am willing to switch. Then that told me that there was an answer that was missing to a huge problem in the industry.
But that was good. It was good in effect, and it's coming from your heart, and it's coming from experience. And we know anytime in business, when you start it up from the heart and experience, it's going to thrive.
That's it.
Because it's another level. It's not just you're going in for the money. It's not that you're going in because it's popular. You're going in because it's a need, and you saw the need because you was in the situation.
Exactly. And I didn't want to be self-centered in that, because sometimes you can begin to address those issues, and I could list what I saw missing, but then I had to go a step further to really involve others in listing what they saw missing as well. And diversity is always strength.
Right.
And so people thought of things that I didn't even think of.
Right.
But Elite has it all addressed in the end.
Now that's amazing.
So to answer your original question though, how do you do that? You focus on the fact that you have been called into a home or into an assisted living place or wherever you're providing those services. You've been called there to give that person the best end of life experience they can have. So at the end of the day, yes, we do miss our clients. Yes, we become very attached.
Right.
And yes, there is a mourning and a grief that goes along with our side. However, we can always lift our head to say we had impact at the end.
Amazing.
That person didn't feel thrown away. That person didn't feel abandoned, and they were definitely not alone and unloved. And so that's the best thing that you can ask for: dignity and respect and honor at the end.
Right. That was good. I wanted you to kind of elaborate on that, because a lot of times when you go in and work for a company, they don't prepare you for the end. Right. So you're in there just knowing, especially if it's your first go round, it's your first rodeo. So you're in there and you just loving on people, and you're just happy to be a part of that, because that's your compassion. That's what you want to do.
Right.
That's your passion. But you haven't prepared mentally for the end.
Right.
And so it's good to see that you have that, where you're able to prepare your people that it's going to be an end. Yes. Because if you don't prepare people, if they don't know, we go into jobs and we think it's going to be a forever thing, and we don't think even in life general with our own family, we know there's going to be an end, but we don't ever think or prepare for the end.
Right.
So you want it in a job, you want to be up under people that's going to prepare you, but also during the process teach you how to do it and how to deal with it and all of those things. So
that's
you
it.
just explained all of
and
it.
you interview to a calling.
Right.
I ask the question, why did you even apply to be a caregiver? If you tell me that it's finances or something else, then you're probably not a good fit for Elite, because that's not the core value of who we are as a company and an agency. So it's about finding the right fit for your company, so that when they go out, I can say hands down, and I say it all the time, all of my caregivers are excellent people.
Because they are a representation of who you are.
Yeah.
And then your interview style gives off, you're going to hire people who are like you. Like-minded, heart-mind, all of that. So some people they hire and they just hire. They need bodies. You don't need bodies. You need people who are going to do exactly what you're going to do. Like you're standing there beside them, they're still going to get the same quality.
Right.
So that's the difference between Elite and other people.
Yes.
Because you're able to give you even when you're not present.
True. And there's something in the corporate world I learned that you have things that are hard skills, which are, they're taught to you. Those skill sets, taking blood pressure and all that stuff. And then you have soft skills, and those are things that innately correlate who you are, your character, your integrity, and all of those things. And I interview to the soft skills because I am a master's prepared nurse. I can teach you how to take a blood pressure appropriately, how to lift, how to turn, how to do a bed bath. All of those things are teachable. But a soft skill, you cannot teach that. Those are things that you are born with innately. So if you're not a genuinely loving person, then you can't teach that, no matter of whatever. So it's about vetting the people in a way of asking behavioral general questions instead of skill driven questions.
Right. I like that.
Yeah, and that's what I do. I spend that time mainly focusing on those soft skills. So I ask not yes or no questions, but what would you do if? Tell me about a time when.
Okay.
And that's how we get to the decision to make an offer or not at Elite.
So what you basically do is you get to know that person, not
yes,
the job.
Exactly.
So, because majority of the times when we apply for a job, they want to know our skills. They want to know our education level. That's not what you want to know. I want to know who you are. So basically, they do an application as if they were going into when you go into when you try to apply for a certain school.
Right.
They want to know who you are personally.
Yes.
To be able to get in school, they want to know if you got behavior problems. They want to know those things. They want to know you mentally. They don't want to know what you possess, like if you got certifications or anything. They don't want to know none of that. They just need to see these things. So that's a good skill. That's a good interview method. I like that.
It's time consuming and it has cost me revenue dollars, honestly, because I hire slowly. But it's worth it in the end because your brand, anybody will tell you with all of the social media and all of the web pages and all that stuff that one bad experience travels a lot faster than the 10 good things that you've done.
Right.
So you have to make sure that whoever you're bringing on the team is going to help you with that branding and that culture. And I put my work in as a leader. I send motivational moments to my team. Hey, I know life is happening. I know Corona and COVID is real. But guess what? Today, we're going to go in, put a smile on somebody's face, and come home COVID free.
That's amazing.
I had 2 or 3 of my caregivers that text me saying, Miss Mary, I needed that today. I needed that motivation to just get up and go because we're putting our lives on the line and we're going out there and we don't know what we're going to come back with. And our families is just important as the person that we're taking care of.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you have to be called for it.
Yes.
You really do.
Yes, you do.
Oh, yeah. I shouldn't put this out here on your YouTube page, but most of the people that, if they say I've been called for it, I'm like, check. Interview over. You got the job because it's a calling, and I understand when you're operating in a calling, then you're not even doing it for me.
Right.
You're doing it for the one who called you.
Yep. That's it.
And he can see everything.
Yes, and you're going to give your best.
Yes.
Even at your worst.
When I'm not looking, God is looking. You know?
When you call to do something, you know that's your gift and your talent. You're going to give your best even on your worst days.
Yes.
Even on your worst. It's plenty of days I want to get up and go, but I know this is what I was called to do. So I'm going to get up and go. I'll be fussing and texting, but I'm going to give what I have to give because I know I was called to do this and somebody's depending on me.
Right.
So that's the same thing with you. Somebody's always depending on you, whether it's your workers or whether it's the people that you're serving. They're always depending on you. Right. So that's amazing, Miss Mary. I love this. Oh, yes. So I want you to tell the people how to contact you, how to find you, and if they need your assistance, how would they go about getting it?
Okay. If you would like to contact Elite In-Home Care, we're located at 4423 Divine Street in Columbia, South Carolina. The zip code is 29205. But I understand that everybody's virtual these days. We certainly have a website that you can go on. That's www.eliteinhomecaresc for South Carolina.com. That's www.eliteinhomecaresc.com. We also have a Facebook page, Elite In-Home Care Provider Agency, and my name is Mary Young.
Well, I would like to thank you, Miss Mary, for being on SOMCZ YouTube channel. It was a pleasure interviewing you, and it was a pleasure getting to know more about Elite.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
I'm so honored.
Yes. So you know how we do it. Until next time, deuces.